Hello everybody, this is ManuS and welcome back to the next part of the Eternal set review for Dark Frontier with the fourth and final part of the time cards. You know the drill. Before we get to the cards, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification icon if you haven't yet and want to see more content in the future. The other thing is, please consider whitelisting EternalTitans.com and YouTube on your adblock. That would really help us a lot. Keep making content for you guys. And now on to the cards. Alright, so first we have Horn of Plenty, clearly a limited only card, pretty poor clock or obelisk basically, but at common. So yeah, 5 is still a lot, but I can see this being decent in certain limited decks. The problem is still kind of, in limited you can't really build around it as much, and time comes with a lot of pretty big units. So it really depends on the deck. If your deck is kind of like low curve enough and you just look at it and the +1/+1 makes a lot of sense on a lot of units, go for it. But if you just have like not that many units and higher curve, bigger units, I would probably not bother with it even in limited. Next we have Venomous Mount, a 5 cost 4/3 deadly that you can alternatively shift and a unit of your choice that you control gets deadly until Venomous Mount emerges. You can, in this case, shift it on 3 and play it for 5, while the others of the cycle that we've seen so far are kind of the opposite and cost 3, 3/3s for 3, and you can shift them for 5. But yeah, all in all, a limited only card, but a pretty good limited card. I think the deadly doesn't do that much, but shifting it on 3 is still strong. Getting it on turn 6 ready to attack is pretty nice, and a 5 cost 4/3 deadly is still fine. So all in all, at least a very solid to good uncommon and limited, I would say. Next we have Shumokan, the Surveyor. Arguably the worst card of the cycle. It costs quintuple time, is only a 6/6 ambush, and makes you a 1/1 explorer if you successfully ambush something basically. The problem is we have better 5 cost units in time already. We have Behemoth and Alhed. I would probably prefer both over this, especially because they don't come with the same kind of restrictions on my power base and have more upsides, except for the Warp. The Warp is still pretty strong, but other than that, I'm not a big fan of this. It at best is at the same level as easier to cast units we already have, if not worse. So I don't really see this making it a constructed ever, really. In limited, it's technically powerful, but 5 time is really hard, so unless your deck is close to mono time, I don't see this in limited either. Next we have Low Cost Hatcher, 6 cost 5/5 warp, that when you play a spell, play a 2/2 low cost with flying. Problem is, first of all, this is a 6 cost 5/5, that's just too weak in constructed really. Warp. This expensive means there will be a lot of turns where you can see it on top of your deck and not use it. In limited, however, this seems really brutal. A 6 cost 5/5 with warp is already very solid in limited, and the ability is backbreaking if you have a couple of spells. If you get 1 or 2 spells off, this should run away with the game. So in limited, this is kind of a bomb. Next we have Refreshing Waters. Another warp card, this time 6 cost fast spell, and you gain 2 health for each of your units. Not really worth the power investment or the card investment, just a pretty bad card really in both formats if you ask me. Then we have Tremor Shocker, another limited only card, but yeah, getting to shift this on 4 to have it ready on 6, and having spent only 4 mana for power on a 6/6 instead of 2, especially if you don't have another turn 4 play, is pretty nice, and even a 6 cost 6/6 is very solid in limited. So quite a nice common in limited all in all. Then we have Enhanced Excavator, 7 cost 7/7. You can shift it for 5, and when one of your units attacks, replenish 1 power. So you can sometimes like shift this on 5, then get a fair share of power back, play something else, which is nice. All in all though, I don't see this in constructed, but in limited it seems quite strong. 7 cost 7/7 is nothing exciting, but decent. And the shift kind of makes it semi-free if you have a couple units able to attack, and allows you to shift this and maybe play a small spell or unit the same turn, making it fairly cheap, and then this coming ready to attack and unblockable on turn 8 is pretty strong, so in limited this looks pretty good. Wouldn't necessarily first pick it over premium commons or uncommons, but it seems like a pretty good rare at the very least. Then we have Lumen Colossus. This card is just mind-bogglingly bad to me. The 7 cost 10/10 endurance, and if you have no other units, you even have to sacrifice it. No evasion, no overwhelm, nothing, just chump block bonanza for 7. In limited, this is still pretty strong, obviously, for a 7 drop, but in constructed, this is horrible, and even in limited, it's just solid, I would say. And last but not least, we have Blurred Stygimoloch. Card's pretty cool. It's a 7/6 overwhelm for 10, but if you have 7 or more attack among your units, it costs 7 less, so it costs 3. So you can cheat this out fairly early and fairly cheap. Keep in mind, as long as you have the 7 or more attack, this can't really be used with the cost. So basically, as long as it's out, it always costs 3, so it only costs 10 in your hand potentially. So you can't really use it with unstable form and stuff like that. It will always be a 3-cost unit in play due to its own size, which is probably by design to avoid potentially broken unstable form shenanigans and stuff like that. But yeah, the card could actually be like borderline interesting and constructed, and in limited this is pretty powerful, so pick this early. Alright, time to talk about the top 5 time cards. Also have an honorable mention, as you see. Alright, so first we have Cryptic Master. Once again, keep in mind, no particular order. Cryptic Master card is a major puzzle piece for the Auralian Relics Red Cage deck. Great 2-drop, great synergy, makes a relic for all your synergies and for itself. Is a great 2-drop that can get really big, and so on and so forth. The card is just really, really good. It's pretty irrelevant outside of that mostly, but it really pushes that archetype to a new level, I think. And that's why it's in here. Once again, time doesn't have that much to offer, so we don't have as many universal staples, I would say. Then we have Phase Out. The card is a bit innocuous, but is really, really nice. It's basically like a permafrost that is guaranteed to last 3 turns, but only 3 turns, and the opponent has no way of stopping it, like silencing it or destroying it. So it's permafrost for 3 turns, guaranteed. But after that, the opponent gets to hit you once unblockable with the unit. So you gotta keep that in mind. But if your deck is proactive enough, this card is amazing. It's a 1-cost spell answer to everything, and even matters for spell synergies like Alessi, the new Smuggler, and stuff like that. Then we have Toka's Waystone Harvester. Kind of the no-brainer format staple of the whole time cards, and one of the format staples of the whole set. Yeah, Toka's just amazing. 3 costs, 3/4 that ramps you, denies the opponent interaction with their own units from spells, and just, yeah, grows bigger, ramps more, does it all. The amazing universal 3-drop legendary for time that is Teacher in the 2-drop slot, sort of, is now Toka's in the 3-drop slot. Gonna be hard pressed to play time decks without Toka's in most cases. Especially suppressing stuff like Sights, Mirror Image out of Peak, Withstand out of Palace, and so on. Just a really strong card. Then we have Devotee of Sands. The card's amazing. It's Power Stone. It's a less fragile Trailmaker without the color fixing. So basically, if you really need the power on turn 3 and your opponent might be able to kill or silence it, you just shift it. If you rather have the attacker and blocker right away, you play it regularly. It just offers you a lot of flexibility and is a really, really good accelerant unit. And last but not least, we have Auralian Infestation, another one that looks a bit fringe and innocuous, but is still quite good. I think it's a potentially great addition for Praxis token style decks, providing you with 2 bodies for 1, similar to Grenadine Drone, but slower. But then also you get unblockable units, you get the Scorpions that can also help you a lot on defense with this type of deck against bigger units. It's just doing quite a bunch of nice things, and it's a spell for spell synergies and Combre once again, for example. Not the most powerful card, but a nice role player in certain cases where it just adds some nice new dimension and potential. And last but not least, we have the honorable mention of course, Glimpse the Possibilities for the cool combo memes that everyone loves, and just being able to do cool, powerful stuff, even though not being likely competitively viable enough. Alright, this concludes the review of the time cards. We will continue tomorrow with Justice Part 1, so hope to see everyone tomorrow as usual. If you enjoyed the series, hit the like button, share it with your friends, leave a comment, let me know what you think, and please consider whitelisting EternalTitans.com and YouTube on your adblock. That's another great way to help us keep making content for you guys and show appreciation. And of course, hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification icon if you want to see more content. So that's it again for this time. I'm your host ManuS, and thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.